In this video, we have a fusion of my two software worlds, between eShare and PolyCAD. We're going to take a look at how you can add frame and model coordination information to an existing project. For those using non-Cadmatic model files with eBrowser and eShare, this may be especially interesting as it's not been possible to set up reference planes, frames, or model coordination views without using the Cadmatic system previously. If we take a look inside a typical Cadmatic model, we can see that the coordinate system shows frames positions and we have a coordinate map in the bottom right of the window. These both help us understand where we are positioned in the project. Indeed, if we click on the coordinate view, the camera position moves to that location. Furthermore, when we look to clip the model, we have access to all the reference positions in the project. In a non-native model, we don't have access to these features, which is a shame, as we consider eShare to be CAD system agnostic, but this type of information is a unique feature of the Cadmatic ecosystem. Now, with help from my colleagues and use of Cadmatic Publisher, I figured out how to generate eBrowser and eShare files which contain coordination information which can be combined with non-Cadmatic model files to access all the features of eShare. So what we're going to do, following a brief introduction to PolyCAD, I'd like to show you how we can export models from PolyCAD to the eBrowser and eShare ecosystem. And as part of that, I'll do an automatic creation of the coordination map. Then I'd like to focus on the coordination information itself. I'll set up a frame definition in PolyCAD and combine that as a secondary model in eShare. Then we'll look at compiling the full amount of coordination information. I'll do something based on a simple surface, and then I'll use an existing model created in another modeling system to use that and bring that into eShare. We'll have both the frames and the coordination map view as well. But first, if you're not aware of my other software project, I'd like to introduce you to PolyCAD. PolyCAD was first published online back in the year 2000 and remains freeware. It's a basic design tool which features many tailored features for solving naval architecture problems. It features advanced hull design tools for simple surface and complex ships. You can define surfaces using images, point clouds. You've got access to dynamic analysis, hydrostatics, simple stability, and even resistance and powering calculations. So taking our first look at PolyCAD, we have obviously a simple yacht surface here. We're going to export that to the eBrowser format. We select a file name and we just select the default options here. Now in eBrowser, just double clicking on the file brings up the project and we can see exactly what we had in PolyCAD. We have the surface and we also have all the curves that are used in PolyCAD as well. This time, exporting for PolyCAD, we'll also select the surfaces to build the map. Now back in eBrowser, we can see that once we've done that, those elements, once we turn on the settings and turn on the map, bring us that coordination view, and we can see that the camera moves around as we zoom around the model. Now let's add some frames to an existing project. So we have a basic surface to work with. We can go to the frames tool and add in a frames ruler. We can of course incorporate all the transitions of different frame spacing, send it to go forwards to backwards, backwards to forwards, depending on the style of framing. PolyCAD also gives you the opportunity to see reports of the frame table, which is quite neat, and you don't often get this with a lot of software. You can also generate reports. So when we export this project this time, we are not going to take any geometry through with us. We're just going to exclude it and just send through the frame table information. Now, in eShare, we'll import the model. And note that this model has to go first in the list. Once published, we have access to a visual frame ruler. And when we look inside the vessel, inside the box of the vessel, we can see that we have the frames shown in the coordinate view at the bottom. Then, in our clipping area, we can see that we've got access to all the frame positions in the project, and if we want to clip to a particular location, we can choose that from the drop-down menus. Next, we're going to add some coordination information to this model to produce the coordination map view. In PolyCAD, we're going to use the outline dimensions object, which kind of develops a marine grid, picks out the dimensions of a hull form, a ship. We can start to indicate some internal subdivision, and this is done in a very simplistic way, creating a simple cut through the surface and creating a positional information, perfect for generating the coordination map in an eBrowser or eShare file. We can also add some decks. And I'm just typing the locations in here, and you'll see the view populating. The geometry is cut to the hull form. And like a professional that we are, we'll properly rename these decks so that we can use them as obvious references when we get to the eShare project. Now, we could export all of this as geometry when we send this through to eShare, but again, we're going to just take the coordination information and no geometry. We could use the internal subdivision capability of PolyCAD, but that is slightly more detailed modeling. We're trying to go really quick here. So when we export the coordination information, as I said, we'll choose to build the view from all the geometry, but we'll exclude all of the internal information. Now, in eShare, again, we'll load up that file, we'll publish it. And when we go into the view, we can see that we have our frames and we have that coordination view. And when we click on it, we can see we can navigate around the model. We can see where the camera is. And this is a very powerful way of understanding where you are in the project. Obviously now back to the propulsion room. And we go to the cargo area. We can just transition around very easily. In this final section, we're going to use an external model file. In fact, here, since we've been dealing with an Aviva Marine project, we're going to take an Aviva Calc geometry through into the coordination of this project. We'll start by turning off and just focusing in on the hull volume. And what we'll do is we'll copy and paste the coordination information from the previous kind of preparation and attach it to the new hull form. So now you'll see that when I select the new hull surface, everything recalculates, and I will need to adjust the draft because it didn't know about it. So again, now we're going to do the export. We aren't going to send any geometry through, but instead of using the surfaces that are created in the outline design, we'll just use the geometry that came in from this project, which includes all compartments and all internal surfaces. In eShare, we'll load in that project. And here now you can see that our coordination view has changed to a nice tidy shaped volume model of the ship. And if you really want to push your project that far, this is one way of doing it. And we can see that we can easily see what part of the ship we're in based on its shape, its size, and we can navigate around in a very tidy way. So now bringing the video to a close, if you have seen something interesting for enhancing your project using PolyCAD, please go to the website. It's freeware software, so you're more than welcome to download it and enhance your models in this way. So to close the video, thank you very much for watching. If you'd like any further information, please go to the website at the web address below or contact me at Cadmatic.